Southern Cross Nightly News. First at 6.
Hello, I'm Kim Miller. Tonight, tearful scenes as refugees reluctantly leave our shores. A Tasmanian surgical team changing lives in the Solomon Islands. And a remarkable comeback in the Davis Cup final. But first, tears and anger tonight over allegations Australia is treating East Timor refugees badly. Hundreds were flown home today, but refugee groups claim they were unwilling passengers.
Clearly distressed and fighting back tears, these refugees are on their way home tonight to an uncertain future. The deadline for their visas running out next week. Many fear the elderly and the very young may not survive Timor's tough conditions.
They still ask and they want to stay, but they said if we have to go, we go.
Despite a government offer that the sick could stay, refugee advocates say language difficulties left them with the impression they weren't wanted.
The government just refused to listen.
They'll return to the monsoon season, many with no shelter, no sanitation and limited food, some wondering if they've offended Australia.
And we want to apologise also if we have done something wrong here.
Many say they want to return to rebuild their nation, but their families at home were urging them to wait a little longer. And charities are also accusing the Howard government of mean-spiritedness in the wake of a new ruling from the tax office that the GST will apply to fundraising activities. Charities will be able to claim the money back, but critics claim compliance costs will hit them hard.
The Humble Lions Christmas cake will have a 10% GST, as will all of the fundraising activities of charities like the St Vincent de Paul.
An outpouring of emotion today as the Prime Minister paid tribute to the families of our troops serving in East Timor. Wives and children will be forced to have Christmas alone, as most servicemen won't be home.
It was a Christmas get-together for the families of our defence personnel serving overseas, on peacekeeping duties in Timor, Bougainville, the Middle East, the Balkans and in Africa. The Prime Minister thanking wives for the emotional support they're giving troops on the front line.
They are doing a great job for their country, and their country is very proud and very grateful for what they are doing.
The party was a joint effort by the federal and New South Wales governments, aimed at easing the loneliness at Christmas. Graham Parker, one of the lucky ones, home yesterday from Dili.
It's a very difficult time for the troops over there, but I'm sure that everybody will pull through it really well.
The Army videotaping messages from wives. This one to infantryman Nathan Mark.
And I'd just like to say I miss you heaps, honey, and I just got my photo taken with the Prime Minister.
Mr Howard doing his part, signing autographs and having photos taken with the families for 2 hours. The wives supporting each other, everyone carrying a photo of the person they love.
It's just very hard around Christmas, and we miss them so much.
Military policeman Matthew Eichen in Dili, missing out on special moments.
It's very hard. My son's just turned 1 and he's missing out on his first steps. So it's hard.
But the Christmas spirit shining through. The message to families from Santa, East Timor is an important stop for him on Christmas Eve, and presents for the soldiers will get through.
A Tasmanian surgical team will leave tomorrow for a week in the Solomon Islands, helping locals in desperate need of plastic and reconstructive surgery. Funded by AusAid and Rotary, the Interplast program relies on Australia's top medicos to volunteer their time for people in developing countries.
20-year-old Zima was born with a severe cleft palate. Like many poor people living in the nations of Asia and the South Pacific, she has no hope of treatment under a medical system which treats such deformities as part of life, to be endured. But Zima is one of the lucky ones.
We can't give a perfect speech, but we can improve it. We see a lot of congenital anomalies over in the Solomons. There's a lot of things like cleft lip and palate, a lot of congenital hand anomalies, but virtually almost anything can come through the door.
Dr Simon Thompson is one of 3 Tasmanians who will head to the Solomon Islands as part of Interplast Australia's overseas program.
It's a bit like operating in your own home garage, really. We take all our own gear, but equally it's a tough place to work. There is limitation of equipment and resources, so you're really out on your own.
For the teams, the workload is also intense, but the opportunity to help, particularly the children, brings its own rewards.
But she's looking very good. Is she eating? Drinking?
Drinking.
Drinking well? Okay.
And the smile on their face is something that it's very difficult to explain how warm I feel inside about that, but I do.
But no matter how hard the surgeons work, Dr Thompson says there are always more people in need.
There's never enough time. We're really going in as a sort of an emergency trip before Christmas to try and get some semi-urgent things done before Christmas. But no, there's always more to do.
Cassie O'Connor, Southern Cross News.
After the break, still no sign from the Mars polar lander, and we visit Tasmanian icon close to the hearts of many.